Let's try and manipulate with our new modal box here and use some of the things if you just scroll down the page. So some of these different attributes we can use with the modal box. Now, as a standard, it looks like this that we just had, right? So pop up with this text here and so on, so on. Now, if we just go through the code, it's quite easy to see that it starts from here where we have our dialog HTML element here. It states two things. It's a modal dialog, that's true, false. We set in a code, we have width, and then we have down here for the button types, we have how the card should behave, so what is actually here. So privacy policy, the text, and the click, right? So if I change the text here to blah blah blah, or hey ho, whoops daisy, let's just do this, remove this, save. And once I open this, it changes, right? And if I don't want the text up, I can just remove that. So where did the card title go? And let's remove that part. All the card title, save, refresh. Then I just have this. So you could incorporate like a YouTube here, right? We can just put in a YouTube real quick. So I already have one open up here with Elvis. And we can just do this and quickly do share or Dale Danish and then integrate here. And then we just copy this total iframe here, go back to our code, paste this in where we had our title before, and click save. And then we can do this, and then we can do a refresh. I already did it. So right now we can actually start our Elvis movie song right here and remove everything and scale it down so everything fits, right? So it's that easy to do a pop-up with a picture, or maybe a gallery or a video or whatever text you can do by using this modal here. Now, that's just one thing. Let's go through some of the other things we can do. I'm just going to go back to our title and the lorem ipsum here. I kind of want to just change it from the light scale to the dark scale, so inverting it, right? And let's just try to do this. So in my card up here, I'm just going to punch in dark. This is very similar to what you would do with a normal card. So we just invert the colors here. That's not really awesome, but it's doing a little, right? Just for you can see how we can manipulate this. So that's kind of the standard things. Now, what if you wanted to have your modal be like, click this and fill the entire page? You could like fix, well, it's going to be 1,000 width, but that depends on the screen, right? There's also something in here called full width. And this we can copy. And if you scroll up a little bit, it says up here, v-dialog. And this is the element that controls some of these things. Not everyone, but most of them. So what we want to do is we want to scroll up where we have our v-dialog here. After the 500, we're just going to do a enter and paste this in. And make sure it's before you end the closing tag, the HTML closing tag here. So let's try this full width. Go back to my browser, refresh just in case. Oops, and didn't work. Why didn't it work? That's because, dialog, I wanted full screen, not full width. So let's do that instead. So full screen. The other one didn't work because we have 500 here, I guess. And now full screen instead. So once I click this, it goes full screen. So we can also overlap everything and have to click it. So that's also cool. But let's go down and see what else we can have. So persistent is another thing that could be useful. That means I'm just going to show you, so not that one, show you the difference between this one. I'm just removing the full screen again. So I'm just going through some of the things in here you can see. So go back, refresh. Now, once I click outside the box, if you can see my mouse, it's outside the modal box, it closes, right? I don't have to go down here and click I accept or close button or whatever it states, right? If you want this box to only be able to close by clicking the specific button, so not this, then we can add the persistent tag here to this v-dialog. So let's do this, save, go back, and see if I click outside, it just does a little wobble instead, and I have to click it specifically to close it down. So that's another thing we can add to our modal box here. And we can continue with all these different things. So there's lazy loading, hide overlay, you can go full screen, you can disable, whatever you want, right? So there are many different things for this modal box, and you can change it to whatever you want, really, because this is basically just a little HTML block that pops up, so you can create, if you want to use grid in there, so you want to use the view grid where you have 4 boxes for some reason, or 12 columns, and then set things up in here. You can manipulate the width really easy. Just instead of being 500, well, we want it to be 800. So whoops, look at that, it just scaled up to 800. So it's, when it's open, it's 800 width wide, or we can also do height and similar things. So that's how we can manipulate this box really easy by using Vuetify. If again we're using Vue's own Modal box here, we need to do a lot more coding and CSS for this to work. So again, it's up to you what you want, but now at least you know how easy it is to implement different things by using the Modal one. Awesome!